Office of Long-Term Living Protective Services Direct Service Provider Webinar September 2013. Agenda. What the purpose of this webinar? What is abuse? Protective Services Laws. Mandated reporters. APS implementation. Transition phase. Reporting requirements. Stop it before it happens.
Abuse. Infliction of injury, unreasonable confinement, intimidation, or punishment with resulting physical harm, pain or mental anguish. Willful deprivation by a caregiver of goods or services which are necessary to maintain physical or mental health. Sexual harassment or rape. Neglect. The failure to provide for oneself or the failure of a caregiver to provide goods, care, or services essential to avoid clear and serious threat to the physical or mental health of an adult. What is exploitation and abandonment? Exploitation, an act or course of conduct by a caregiver or other person against an adult or an adult's resources, without the informed consent of the adult or with consent obtained through misrepresentation, coercion, or threats of force, that results in monetary, personal, or other benefit, gain or profit for the perpetrators or monetary or personal loss to the adult. Abandonment, the desertion of an adult by a caregiver. Older Adults Protective Services Act, OPSA, and Adult Protective Services Act, APS, both acts, provide for the detection, prevention, reduction, and elimination of abuse, neglect, exploitation and abandonment. Require a program of protective services for adults in need of them. Require a uniform statewide reporting and investigative system. Prescribe penalties. Utilize least restrictive alternatives and ensure services are provided in the most integrated setting. Legislative provisions of both laws. Adults who lack capacity and are at imminent risk must have access to services necessary to protect their health, safety, and welfare. Adults have the right to make choices even when those choices present risks to themselves or their property. Adults have the right to refuse some or all protective services. Information should be provided in a safe place and understandable manner. Services shall be in the least restrictive environment, most integrated setting, and encourage consumer choice. OPSA was enacted to provide protective services to individuals age 60 and over. Provides legal authority to investigate cases of abuse, neglect, or exploitation and abandonment. Pennsylvania Department of Aging administers at state level. Funding, oversight, area agencies on aging implement at the local level, intake, investigation, and services. If the adult is age 60 or over and you suspect abuse, call 911. If the person is in immediate danger, call the Area Agency on Aging, AAA, or the statewide Elder Abuse Hotline 1-800-490-8505. Cooperate with OPSA. Also, direct service providers, file an incident report in EIM service coordinators. APS. In 2010, Act 70 was enacted to provide protective services to adults between the ages of 18 to 59. Prior to 2010, there was no legal authority to investigate cases of abuse, neglect, exploitation, or abandonment of persons with disabilities between the ages of 18 to 59. DPW is responsible to implement the program. APS is similar to OPSA. APS. Who is covered under the law? Adults with disabilities who are alleged victims of abuse, neglect, exploitation, and abandonment. Adult, a resident of this Commonwealth between 18 and 59 years of age who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. APS, CONT. Who can investigate allegations and provide services. 301, DPW shall work with aging. 301, DPW may perform any duty granted to an agency until an agency is selected and operational. 301, agencies shall be selected via a competitive bidding process. APS implementation. A vendor will be procured to operate the APS program no sooner than July of 2014. Once a vendor, is selected and in place, there will be one number to call for APS reports during the transition phase. OLTL, ODP, and OMSAs will investigate their active consumers until at least July of 2014. Investigations for non-participants will be handled by participating AAAS and subcontractors during the transition phase. Mandated reporters, APS, An employee or administrator of a facility who has reason to suspect that a recipient is a victim of abuse or neglect shall make an oral report to the local Adult Protective Services agency. If an employee is alleged to have committed abuse, the facility shall immediately suspend the employee or, where appropriate, utilize a plan of supervision if such plan is approved by the APS agency and applicable state licensing agency. Mandated reporters of APS, CONT. Facility employees, contracted or direct, include assisted living facility, domiciliary care home health care agency, intermediate care facility for individuals with intellectual disabilities, nursing home, older adult daily living center, personal care home, residential treatment facility, an organization or group of people that use public funds and is paid, in part, to provide care and support to adults in a licensed or unlicensed setting. Transition phase reporting requirements. What do you do if you suspect abuse or neglect of an OLTL waiver participant? Call 911 if the individual is in a life-threatening situation. Take action to secure the safety of the individual. Direct service providers, contact the OLTL provider helpline at 1-800-757-5042. Service coordinators, contact your OLTL regional supervisor. AIDS service organizations, call Gail Brunson or Brian Lester at 717-787-8091. Assist OLTL/the service coordinator as requested in investigating allegations. Document concerns and actions taken to protect the adult in either the Electronic Incident Management (EIM) system or SAMS, whichever is appropriate. ASOs should document in participant files. Transition phase reporting requirements, CONT. Immediately contact law enforcement officials when suspected abuse or neglect is one of the following: sexual abuse, serious injury, serious bodily injury, suspicious death. Upon a receipt of a report, the acts require law enforcement officials to conduct an investigation to determine if criminal charges will be filed. Transition phase reporting requirements, CONT. Report suspected abuse and neglect to the appropriate licensing agency. Department of Public Welfare, Personal Care Homes, Assisted Living Residences, Office of Administration, Bureau of Human Services. Licensing 1-877-401-8835. Department of Health, Nursing Facilities, Division of Nursing Care Facilities 1-800-254-5164. Transitional phase reporting requirements, CONT. If the individual is not receiving services, in those cases in which the reporter does not know what the person's disability is or the person is not served by a program office, contact local law enforcement in order to assure the individual's safety. Local police department contact information is available at http://www.usacops.com/pa http://www.usacops.com/pa. State Police County contact information is available at http://www.portal.state.pa.us/portal/server. Additional resources: Office of Developmental Programs DPW Customer Service line at 1-888-565-9435. Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services Consumer Information line at 1-877-356-5355. Child line: if the individual is under the age of 18, Child Protective Services are available at 1-800-932-0313. Stop it before it happens. At-risk behavior. Examples of at-risk behavior: smoking while using oxygen, refusal to take essential medications, illegal drug use, refusal to be turned or have wounds cared for, right to take risks. Participants in OLTL waivers who are capable of making decisions about their services and supports can take risks. The individual service plan allows for a participant to not agree to risk mitigation. When risk is no longer a right, taking risk is not acceptable when the participant's own life or the lives of others are jeopardized by the at-risk behavior. Mitigating risk strategies: to mitigate risk, ensure that all services on the participant's service plan are being provided. On all participant contacts, ask, "Have you been in the hospital since we last talked? Are you getting the services that are in your service plan?" If you notice bruises or untreated pressure sores, ask about them. Ask questions: even if they are embarrassing to you or the participant. If a relative or worker are in the room and you sense something isn't right, ask them to leave and talk in private to the participant. Ask your supervisor for assistance.